on me.
Hey y'all, and welcome to my series called Not There Yet, the Shannon series. I'm going to start by giving y'all a short introduction to who I am and what you're going to see on this channel. My name is Shannon, by the way. I graduated from Oklahoma Agricultural High School in 2013. I graduated from Holmes Community College in 2021 with an associate's degree in criminal justice. I graduated from Oklahoma Community College in 2024 with an associate's degree in junior education. And I graduated from the Lamorne Owen College, the 5th HBCU in the nation and the only HBCU in Memphis. I graduated with my bachelor's in arts of interdisciplinary studies with a concentration in criminal justice and business. So now that you know that about me, let's get down to the nitty gritty of things. So what you're going to see on this channel is, I made notes so I don't ramble. So what you're going to see on this channel is how I got here, how I chose my major, you know, why I wanted to attend college originally. I wanted to explain to y'all how I ended up in Lamorne, things like that. I'm going to talk about my life in Memphis. I'm going to take y'all on tours of the law schools I'm interested in, the cities I'm interested in, like the city life. I'm going to really share with y'all about the LSAT, but that'll be next week's video about my score, if I plan on retaking it, things like that. And then we'll close it out. Alright, so when I initially was looking at colleges, I knew I was going to Clark Atlanta. Like, no one could tell me anything. I was going to Clark. But, and I'm not going to lie, I was so mad at my mom for not letting me go. For not letting me go. But when it came down to, when I saw the financial aid and how it works, I'm like, yeah, this is not going to be an option, so let's pick another one. So I chose Mississippi Delta Community College off top. Okay. Now, initially, now I played 2 instruments and I danced. But a lot of people don't know I dance because I started dancing a little later in life, because I know this may sound crazy. I'm shy when it comes to dancing, but when it comes to playing my instrument, I'm not. I play piano and I play trombone. Okay. So this guy named Corey Chester, he was telling me, well, you know, you don't have to go to Oklahoma because, you know, you just feel that's where you should go. You should expand your horizons. So I'm like, okay. So he was like, I know the band director at Mississippi Delta, who is now the band director at Oklahoma. How ironic is that? And he was like, I can get you a scholarship. So my parents were just like, no. Now my dad, he's pretty cool. He was like, well, if they give you a scholarship, I'm not going to stand away your money unless the school is just too far. Now mind you, I stayed in Clarkston at the time, and the school was in Moorhead. That's an hour drive. At best, maybe an hour and 3 minutes. So I was so mad my mom wouldn't let me go. But my dad was like, well, if they give us money, we really should send no way. So they gave me an initial 1-year institutional scholarship. So at first, my dad was like, well, if you get a 2-year, I won't stand in your way. So I called him up, told him my dad said he shot me back with a 2. Now, my mom is never going to admit to this, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad about it no more. I know she hit the scholarship paper because she didn't want me to go. She wanted me to go to Oklahoma. Now, for anybody to say, what's wrong with Oklahoma? Nothing. I went to Aggie. And if y'all know the history of my high school, which is now closed, that we were there first in 1924. And then Oklahoma came in 1949. So it's just more so I knew everybody, and I wanted to be somewhere different where I'd be forced to make connections and do my own thing. Because at Oklahoma, I just didn't do my best because I just felt like I didn't have to. That's just as simple as it's going to get. So my grades were up and down, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, anybody that knows me knows I'm incredibly intelligent, so it was just a fact of I don't want to be here. But at that time, I didn't think to just make the best of the situation, just do your 1 year, 2 years, and leave. I wasn't thinking like that. But now looking back on it, I should have went on because I really could have graduated top of my class. I'm that smart. But I wasn't trying to prove to anybody because, like I said, once I know that I'm smart, I have to prove to these people. Okay, so choosing my major. Initially, I wanted to major in early childhood education of my own daycare. Now, that was when I really liked kids. I still like kids, but not on my day-to-day like that. Now that I've had the luxury of being by myself and all that, I'm glad I didn't do that. That would not have went well for me. So that's when I started looking at other majors. And I remember talking to Miss Julia Shelton, which was my business and computer technology teacher. And we were talking about my major, what I should do. And I was just like, well, I'm good with math and numbers and science. I'm kind of really good at everything. But I just didn't know what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So when it came down to it, I started looking at accounting and business administration, things like that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna major in accounting. I'm gonna run a corporate world. That's why I'm trying to go to Clark, Atlanta, because I'm like, man, if I go down there, I can take over Atlanta, have my pitch all over billboards, do my big one, so they know I'm their girl. Man, I can't lie, my dreams were crushed. When I got to go to Clark, I still be mad about it sometimes. But Spelman was an option too, but Spelman didn't have my major, so Clark was the next best thing. And I saw them when I was in Upper Bound, they took us out to the colleges. I promise you, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. But it didn't happen that way. And it's okay. It's okay. So, also, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go home and do it. Now, this is where the problem came in. When I just finally settled on Oklahoma. Nobody told me that accounting majors made money. So, I'm thinking that my family's trying to sway me from it because they don't make no money. Because I understand, like, you need to go to college and do something that's going to make you some money. So, I'm like, if they're not making no money, then I don't need to be in it. So my mom was trying to push nursing on me. Now, the person I am now and the person I was then, that person then didn't need to be no nurse. But this person now can do that. I'm more compassionate, empathetic, and things like that. I wasn't that at 18. Like, I was a little monster. And it's okay. It's okay. You grow. It's part of the growing pains. So, I also wanted to be a dancer. I've always wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be like a trap ballerina or something, dancing to rappers and shit, the dance behind rappers and shit like that. But my mama don't like that hood stuff, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm just gonna do it to mess with them. But I always wanted to dance behind Beyonce. Did it before I knew the allegations were actually true. You know, like no joke. I was like, man, Diddy don't be dancing. He been doing a little jig and all that. So I'm like, man, let me dance behind him. Whatever. Or play the piano behind a celebrity, or play the trombone. Now, this is the part that makes me mad. I wish my parents had more invested in me when it came to my instrument, because I played my trombone for 7 years. So I'm like, why didn't y'all put me in? Because I didn't even know universities did band camp until I saw Southern University and other colleges doing it. I'm like, so y'all do that? I had the opportunity to be better or start my career as a dancer? Like, I was so mad. I was just like, but I will say this: my parents didn't know about it, so I'm not gonna be mad at them about some things they didn't know about. That's cool. All right. Now, I never knew I wanted to be a lawyer. That was never a thing. I just knew I was gonna be a CPA, live a decent life, you know, and I was gonna make enough money to do all the things that Shannon wanted to do. So I was cool, but I like numbers anyway, so it wasn't gonna be boring to me because I could make the most boring things fun. So, now. I was living in Memphis at this time, and I still wanted to do accounting or criminal justice, but I still hadn't made my mind up. So, I was supposed to get promoted at Allied University. That's why I was working. I was working with them a couple years, and the promotion didn't happen. That's why I was a supervisor, but I didn't get to be an account manager. So I started looking at the dead end that security really is, and I was just like, I don't know if this is something that I want to do. So that's when I started thinking, okay, what are other avenues? So I started thinking about working for Memphis Police, and I'm like, it's one thing to get shot on the job. It's another thing to get shot by a YN. Bruh, oh my God, my ego couldn't take that kind of hit. I'm sorry. I would never be able to live with myself. So I was like, no. So I started trying to work for dispatch. But I couldn't pass the critical, and I'm going to tell you why I couldn't pass the critical. Now, I know my north, south, east, and west, because living in Memphis, you have to know that. Oh, y'all. I was doing like the directions right, but I wasn't starting from the location itself. I was starting from the street, so they made my answer wrong. So I was just like, oh my God, okay. So I did it twice, didn't do it. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is not what God got for me. Okay, so I'm at the point before I decided to go back to school. I was looking for a home and all that, so I was really ready to settle living in Memphis, but I started thinking about what I wanted, and I'm like, Memphis is not a bad city. It's like any other city, got its ups and downs, but I just feel like the vision I have for myself is bigger than Memphis. I've met a lot of great people here. I've had a lot of great experiences here, but I know my time is coming to an end here. And that's okay. But I'm always going to credit my hustle and everything that made me to me being born in the Mississippi Delta and raised there and learning how to hustle and grind and survive as an adult in Memphis. Because you either go sink here or you go float. It's up to you. Now, let's get to the next one. So yeah, when it came down to me wanting to be a lawyer, you know, I just started looking at other avenues, and lawyer kept popping up, and I'm like, I'm not fit to be nobody's lawyer because I didn't know that there were different types of lawyers. I just thought that if you were a lawyer, you could just do anything, you know. I didn't know that you could specialize things like that. Like, at first I was like, I don't want to be no criminal lawyer, which I'm starting to think maybe I should, but I don't know about all that yet. So I started looking at bankruptcy law, criminal law, family law, and I started looking at being a sports agent because I love sports. Like, I love the Cowboys. Like, not too much of my team because I know how y'all get. Anyway, so I thought about doing it for the NFL, but I found out you had to have a master's degree. So I'm like, okay, I don't need a law degree to do this, by the way. But I'm trying to build an agency for myself, and I'm like, if I have people specializing in different things, then they're lawyers, we can keep a lot of money in house, and I can afford to pay my people more money. So I'm looking at the bigger picture of it all. Okay, so I started looking, and for I was like, oh no, I have imposter syndrome really bad, so I didn't think that I could do it, but now I'm like, maybe I can do this. Now I took the LSAT. I'm glad that the LSAT score isn't the end all be all, because if it was, that's all I'm gonna say. But I took it to a Memphis law. The first time I went, I was like, well, I don't want to be a lawyer. This is boring. But then I said, you know what? I don't think you went in with an open mind because you just ready to leave Memphis. So I went into it again. I sat in the class. The lady whose class I sat in, I can't remember her name. She sent me an outline of what they're going to talk about. So I'm like, okay, you know, some of the stuff I kind of knew the definitions of because of constitutional law. Shout out to Dr. Peggy Lee, Attorney Peggy Lee, specifically. So when it came down to it, I was like, well, maybe it's not so bad. So I said, I'm still going to have them on my list of options, you know, but I want to go see other schools first to make sure. Because I don't want to get down the line and be like, you could have stayed here. Because when I found out I did first semester, like, let's say I transferred to my first year of law school. If I transfer after that first year, I might not get enough financial aid. And if I transfer after the second year, I'm a visiting student. So, like, if I start at Memphis Law, but then I go to my 3L at FAMU, then I'm going to graduate from Memphis Law. So I'm like, no, wherever I go is where I'm going to go, and I'm going to be done. But I have my list of schools, and I'm going to share that with y'all on the next video as well. So y'all can just kind of get an idea of what I'm doing all that. So, also, I'm going to talk about how my life is in Memphis. Like, when I've been there 5 years, I actually did more hanging out in Memphis when I did live in Memphis. But it's like, I said the past 2 or 3 years, I had just really been grinding. So I hadn't really been out like that. But I'm going to take y'all on the events I started going to and things like that. The restaurants, the nightlife. Like, things that I actually do in Memphis, because y'all just swear there's nothing to do here. It's a lot to do here. You just have to be open-minded to new activities and things like that. Because Memphis, like, even though it's a majority black city, like, there are a lot of white people here, and they like to do a lot of white things, and I'm not going to lie. A lot of that stuff be lit. Because I used to do flex security, so I went to some of these events for free, so I could just look around. So that's kind of how I got an idea of what goes on in Memphis. And it made me change the way I look at Memphis as well. Because I'm from the Delta. It was always told to me, you don't live in Memphis, you don't F around, you go to work and you go home. So I was scared my first that was my first year here. I cried because I stay in the hood now. And when I first moved to the hood, I ugly cried and said, oh my God, I'm going to die. They're going to kill me. They're going to kidnap me. They're going to take my car, you know. Because these are things that I was told, these are the preconceived notions that was given to me. But as I've lived here, it's so many great people in Memphis. It's just the environment. And I get that. It's dog eat dog in Memphis for the most part. Like, what y'all see on the news is not all of what Memphis has to offer. And I just want y'all to know that. I just felt like I need to put that in the video. So, also, I'm going to take y'all on apartment tours as well when I do the law school tour. So, it's like, I can kind of get the feel of the cost of living that's going to be there. Because if I can afford to live there, then I'm just going to probably go to school here. And I know you all are probably thinking, well, why don't you go to law school in Memphis? It does make the most sense, but I don't like to do things that make sense. I like to step outside the box and do my own thing. I feel like I wasn't even supposed to be living here this long. I was only supposed to be here a year, fix my credit, stack my money, and go. But like a dumb, I got scared and got sucked in. But I said, well, while you here, you may as well get your degree. At least your time here won't be a total waste. Cool. All right, so then I'm going to tell y'all about, on the next video, it's going to be about my LSAT scores. Well, I retaken my opinions on it. Like, I got strong opinions about the LSAT. And then I'm going to talk to y'all about the argument of right. Child, that thing gave me tears. And I'm going to just leave it at that. Well, that's all I have for now. So, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video.